G'day guys, so in this video we're going to use bear traps for base defense. Now all I'm going to do is make two intersecting corridors. It doesn't really matter how long they are, but the longer the better. Which can either be internal to your base or wrapped around the edge of it. And then demolish the foundation where they intersect. A pillar in the foundation next to it, and drop another foundation one level lower. Just like that. As I said, I'm just building the bare minimum here. In your case it'd be integrated into your base. So I'll just add the walls to make it look like a corridor. Now I'll place a foundation over the top of the lowered one so I can add that wall in at the same height. Now at the end of this corridor I'm going to add a plant. But I'm going to embed it down into the foundations so people can't steal the fertilizer. At least not easily. So start with a pillar on the edge. There's two snap points there, make sure it's at the lowest one. And then a pillar into the center, again at the lowest snap point. We're doing this to lower the next foundation 2 levels. Okay, so now I'm going to ring that lowered foundation with the higher ones. That's just to cover in the sides. Now placing the crop plot is going to be a tight fit. So like in the previous video, I'm going to use the ladder trick to align the crop plot. Place the ladder down on the edge, climb the ladder, get the crop plot out, and you'll only have to line up the back and forward to place it down. And now you can place your hatch frame and trapdoor on top. Now what you'll notice is opening the trapdoor from one side will open it downwards. You don't want to do that. Go around the other side and open it, and it'll open upwards. Now if you look right along the edge opposite the hinge, you'll be able to find the inventory for seeding and fertilizing it. Okay, that'll grow when it drains. Now I'll just finish adding in the walls. Now you want some sort of bait up the end of the corridor to lure the victim into the trap. Here I'll just use a smithy. It doesn't matter how you configure all of this. Be as creative as you like. Now you can either add a water tap through the ceiling to water that plant, or just leave an open hatch frame. Okay, so finally, that's pretty much complete. Now, I've covered bear traps before, but never in practice. But to recap, if you just place a bear trap down, it'll just stay on the surface. And what self-respecting bear is just going to walk along and step in that? So we bury them. Remember, we lowered a foundation below this one. Place your bear traps on that lowered foundation. You can use as many as you can fit on there. I usually use 9. And in this case I left a gap around the inside edge so I can get around, but the others won't know that. And now bury the traps with another foundation over the top. So now we've set the bear traps the way they were designed to be set, under the ground. So now as soon as the plant grows, the trap will be ready and set. If you don't have someone to release you, you get stuck in a bear trap for a really long time. And you feel so helpless. So here I used an outside plant through a window to cover the corridor. Anyway, let's go have a look at one on the official servers, which I had set. So in this case we had someone poking around the base harassing us for quite some time, until he took the bait through an open door. Now there's one thing that I forgot to mention, and you should make sure you do, and that's to rename your plant. So just rename it through the radial menu. I normally just call it corridor, that way I know it's the trap. And you can easily tell that your trap's been triggered. And quite often they run into it multiple times. I assume the first time they think they just didn't see the bear trap. The second time they look and don't see a bear trap and go and walk into it again. So make sure you name your plant, that way you know who's been poking around. Naming the plant and looking in the tribe log is the reason I know these two guys were the ones that broke in, smashed a water tank and took a chest. And only know that because they were trapped, killed, and the tribe log said that happened at the same time. So trapping people at your base does serve a purpose. If you want to set up a remote trap away from your base, you can do that and you don't need to make it as big. But it doesn't serve the same purpose. Using the same burying technique is good for forward raiding bases though, to trap them out of their base as they come and try to counterattack. So if you set up a small dummy base outside of theirs, and use the buried bear trap technique, you can easily capture them. A quick expedient way of using bear traps is just to use thatch roof, which also hides them. Not quite as well as the stone, but good enough. Now the problem with thatch is you can destroy it. This is an ascendant pike which is going to do it a lot quicker, but it doesn't take that long to destroy a thatch roof, which frees the person that's trapped. And there's no need to question why I've got a bear trap sitting out back. Anyway guys, that's it. I've brushed over bear traps before in other videos, but this is how I use them in game. So if you've run into a bear trap on the No Tame servers recently, and I know a lot of you have, it was probably me.